Hello YouTube, Reddit Math here, and welcome to Sunless Sea. Sunless Sea is a roguelite released by Failbetter Games earlier this year. It's got a lot of thematic elements that you might consider in common with a game like Darkest Dungeon, very Cthulhu mythos kind of stuff going on, and it has its first DLC announced just last week for me, probably about 2 weeks ago by the time you're seeing this, and it sort of prompted me to revisit the game, which I spent a little bit of time with when it originally released, but quite honestly never got into all that much. I'd like to try it out and see how the format would work for the channel, and yeah, we're going to go ahead and take a look. So we're going to be starting a new game, we are sure, and we have a very spiffy load screen here. Now, the game takes place in a world originally designed for a browser game called Fallen London, in which basically London was swallowed up, fell beneath the Earth's crust into the Unterzee, which is sort of this subterranean ocean that now makes up the world. The game itself starts off like this, and there's going to be a fair amount of like logbooks and reading type stuff to do right here at first. We've got some character creation to go through, and so if we choose a pass, you are now in a room above the blind helmsman. We could either be a street urchin, a poet, a veteran of the campaign of '68, an ordained priest, or a natural philosopher. Well, you know what? I think I like the idea of playing a veteran of the campaign of '68. You fought in the invasion of hell, London's armies lost, you survived. Your loot and your pension have bought you a command. It gives you a bonus to iron, the skill of causing direct damage. Why not? Alright, we gained a shady cook, 25 iron, 20 echo. You were a weary soldier, now you're a Z captain. Your estranger quality is gone, welcome to the world. Alright. And our ambition, basically, we are deciding our own win condition for the game. Your father's bones were lost at Z. You never knew him, but you've often dreamed of him. Find and return his remains to London for a decent burial. Fulfillment, gather 100 tales, learn all you can of the Z, write a masterpiece, and retire. Wealth, you know how it is to be poor. Now you want a mansion, servants, fine clothes, a family perhaps, or a private kingdom. Interesting. Establish a colony where you're the absolute ruler. A utopia, perhaps. Perhaps. You can't choose this now, but you may find an opportunity to switch to it later. I think I'm just going to go for wealth. If I was going to be a Z captain, I think I would be doing it for the fame and glory, truth be told. The Unterzee is full of riches, death, and darkness too, but it's worth the gamble. To win, gather a substantial retirement fund, upgrade your lodging to a mansion, and retire. An occurrence, your objective ambition quality is now retire to a life of luxury. Alright. And the last scrap of paperwork. Captain, an irregularity with the harbor master's office. They wish to know what terms of address do you prefer ashore. This will determine what people call your captain, but your captain's gender is up to you. Madam, sir, citizen, my lord, my lady, or captain. I think captain will do perfectly well ashore as well as at sea. Thank you very much. All right. Last piece of advice, explore. Take chances. This captain will probably die. The Z is hungry, but each captain passes on lessons to the next. All right. And we can choose a spiffy little avatar icon thing. Oh my, that is horrifying. Let's go for something a little bit more respectful. Although that is quite a cool bandaged little face. Go all Phantom of the Opera style. And that's actually kind of interesting considering the DLC that we'll talk about in just a moment. I'm thinking I like this one the best. We've got a little monocled eyeglass kind of thing going on here. And we will be simply red. Alright, Fallen London. Deep, dark, and marvelous. All voyages start here, and this is where successful voyages end. Good to know. So, without further ado, We could go into London, we could check our lodging, or advice for captains. Let's go ahead and check out London, the greatest city in the Unterzee. Visit the Admiralty's survey office, visit the university, hire on more crew, put your ship in dry dock, offer passage to a tomb colonist, or a new recruit, which is currently locked. Let's go ahead and visit the Admiralty's office. We'll get our first kind of quest going on. They'll pay for information from Z captains, find out what and how. The Admiralty's picket fleets and intelligence networks are long gone. The survey office pays Z captains a small fee or a small sum for recent information. We can visit and investigate ports to gain port reports and trade them in here. The first time you trade in a port report, you'll gain Admiralty's favor. I'll go ahead and ask if there's anything in particular they need. Well, if we can be assured of your discretion, speak to our agent there and return. We'll see that you're rewarded. Retrieve strategic information from Gator's Mourn in the Corsair's Forest, somewhere not far from home waters. Okay. We don't have an appointment. Let's see if we can talk our way in. Not as such. Well, then once you've proven yourself, perhaps. Okay. Then we'll go ahead and leave. Out in the foggy street, we turn up our collar. Visit the university, which is currently locked. Docks are currently locked. Let's go ahead and try to hire on more crew. We gained 1 crew. Awesome. We lost 15 Echo, which I believe is just sort of the currency of the game, if I'm remembering correctly. Okay. And other than that, we could offer passage to a tomb colonist. I'm actually going to hold off on that for right now, though. And instead, let's just go ahead and get into our ship here. All right, we got tutorials to go through. Click the launch button to leave port. All right, launch button. There we go. Movement is with the WASD keys, although I don't know why it's WSAD instead of WASD. Tap W twice to reach max speed. Tap S to slow down or to come to a full stop, and then reverse and use A and D to steer. Okay. So as we set out into the Z, you're going to see a few things. We've got like a hunger meter here, a terror meter, and engine temp and fuel remaining. So fuel is going to be sort of our resource that we have to be kind of mindful of. And right in the beginning, we're just going to visit some of the surrounding islands, see what they might have to say to us. You know what? Actually, let's make a turn on a dime there. I noticed the actual place to dock is over there. Something awaits you. After a short time at Z, a lamp icon will appear above the logbook, and it means that opportunities await at the next port. Okay. That is fine. So I'm thinking we can dock up here. The circle of light is a port. Okay, we need to get into the circle. It has been like 8 months since I played this game, so you'll forgive me if, whoops, if I am a little bit rusty. All right, to visit the port, click the dock button. Careful, your hull just took damage from a collision. Yep, that sounds about right. Go ahead and dock here at Hunter's Keep. A hump of dark rock swathed in mist, like 100 other Unterzee islands. All right, a hump of rock swathed in mist like 100 other Unterzee islands, but here's a grand house. Windows aglow, lawns impossibly green and lush in the false starlight, raked gravel paths. You stand on the dock as the sea nudges the ship's sides. An unexpectedly warm breeze carries the faintest trace of lavender. We could either present ourselves at the house, we could walk in the gardens, we could recon the island, or try to spy on the house, which is apparently a modest challenge. Let's go ahead and just recon the island for now. Plunging cliffs, soft green lawns, a well tucked away in a fold of the grounds. Anything else? All right. The sea's silent. Ships rarely come here. Nothing changes, even the weather. The house is the heart of the isle. The house and the sisters. But the Admiralty may be happy to know that nothing's changed, at least. You now have one of this, a port report, Hunter's Keep. So we could go back to turn in our port report to the Admiralty now. All right. We could walk in the gardens. We'll take a couple of burly sailors with us just in case, but the gardens are tranquil as moonlight. The lawns are neatly trimmed, and the night flowers of the neath... Huh, interesting, the neath. Beneath, right? Because it's not really the sky anymore. Bloom here in profusion. You watch the hedgerows, but nothing comes to menace you. You can savor the peace. There is a pointed cough from the shadows of a potting shed. An angular woman in a maid's uniform, her eyes a peculiar sulphurous yellow, advances, frowning. She indicates the house, turns on her heel, and leaves. You know something of Hunter's Keep. All right, and we'll go ahead and present ourselves to the house. We knock and enter. The maid with smoldering topaz eyes shows you into the parlor where 3 young women wait. "A visitor," the youngest cries. The next youngest chuckles, the eldest sighs. "Do excuse the indecorum," she says. "Visitors are rare. You are very welcome. I am Cynthia. The noisy one is Phoebe. The cheerful one is Lucy. You are in good time for lunch. Will you join us?" And the air trembles. A breath of change passes. We are now acquainted with the Sisters of Hunter's Keep. All right. And we could then choose which of the 3 sisters we would want to have a lunch with. Also, if we had recent news, we could basically bring news to them, but we don't yet. Okay. So instead, we got the eldest, the middle, or the youngest sister to talk to. Let's go ahead and talk to the eldest, Cynthia, since she has already spoken to us. Cynthia grasps your arm and whispers to you. Her eyes are wide and blue. Her hair is wild and tangled. Bats might nest in it. It seems to you that you are sitting on a hillside above a wide blue lake, listening to a story of a murder. An axe, a net, blood on scented water. "Another chop?" Cynthia asks. "You barely touched your food. Here, I'll have the maid wrap something up for you. You can't be hungry. It's not safe to be hungry." All right, we lost all of our hunger. Still acquainted. An occurrence. Your the gods of the Z salt's attention quality is now exclamation point. Iron remains unchanged at 50. We now have a tale of terror and a wary by terror. We've also gained 1 supply. That's all for now. Okay, and I think, yeah, we won't be able to do it again right now because we don't have another something awaits us to spend, I believe. The parlor is empty. Where are the sisters? The maid makes it clear through a series of unwelcoming growls that Phoebe, Lucy, and Cynthia are all 3 indisposed. No lunch today, apparently. Okay, so we'll go ahead and launch ourselves back out of the dock. And there's probably another island in me. Basically, we can go doing what we've just done. Like that, this is the bulk of the sort of story of the game, is visiting islands, gaining mysterious tales from them, and sort of using those to report back. Fragments. You receive fragments when you discover... Whoa, so many things. When you discover new places, acquire enough of them and you'll gain a secret. You can use secrets to improve your captain's skills by talking to officers, or for some key stories. Terror. When you see green running lights on the ship, you're in the dark, and your crew's terror will increase. Watch the pips on the terror indicator. It increases faster when you're far from land. Don't let it reach 100. Headlights. Your prow light can be turned on or off. Leaving it on reduces the rate at which you gain terror, but makes you more visible to enemies. Okay, good to know. And Davies Bay. Let's see if we could find a place to dock somewhere near Davies Bay. Carissa's Point. Just a long wall so far. Anything? Anything at all? Hornman's Stag. Also some very appropriately creepy music. No, I never really looked at this. The Shady Cook is giving us an additional heart. Okay. Hey. And vendor bite. And here is a port for us to dock in. No. Also, our first battle. You know what? We'll probably do that before we dock. So, combat. You've encountered an opponent. The red arc shows the range of your deck gun. Keep the enemy in range while your crew works out a firing solution. This will happen faster if you keep the enemy in your prow light. The deck gun will be highlighted as your crew make progress towards a firing solution. Press space or close the tutorial to continue. Okay, so we've got a bat swarm here, and as you can see, we are getting ready to fire. Oh, and then we were able to. So we hit the swarm, but didn't quite kill it. Oh, and there we go. So we made it a couple of decent attacks on us, and then claiming your prize. Congratulations, you defeated an opponent. Move to the side of their demise to salvage something. The bat swarm was defeated. Little leathery corpses lie scattered across your deck. The rest of the swarm vanishes into the neathy dark. Gather up the corpses or dispose of the corpses. They are succulent with stolen blood. Into the pot. Their mere touch leaves you shuddering. Throw them away. Well, you know what? Our terror is fairly good right now. So let's go ahead and throw them into the pot. So we gained new terror, but we also gained a new supply, an unorthodox diet. Those little bones are troublesome and the flesh a little gamey, but salt them well enough and they're quite edible. Alright. Hopefully we don't become too terrified with our newfound food. I'll go ahead and dock here. Tomb colonies. If you die in Fallen London, they come here instead. The tomb colony of Vinderbite. On deck, you can hear the sound that 1,000 bandaged dead make as they shuffle and cough. Okay. It's something like the world's most restless concert audience or the world's most plague-ridden cathedral. We don't... Okay. If we had more terror, we could do the dusty glass of wine, but since we don't, we've got Explorer or Visit the First Curator or Gather Gossip. You know what? We don't have a port report yet for Vinderbite, so let's go ahead and do that. Who's plotting what out in the tomb colonies? Along the coasts of the Unterzee, it's remarkably hard to die. The decrepit and nearly dead who leave London become tomb colonists and settle here in bandaged peace. But they don't give up their ties to home or their politics. You gather a haul of complex clues enough to keep your contacts in London interested. You have one of this, a port report for Vinderbite. Okay. And what else could we do? We could explore. Here, they favor candlelight over gaslight. The shadows are swagged like cobwebs. The tomb colonists stand still enough to be mistaken for sculpture until they laugh or cough. One building in 3 seems abandoned. A withered garden. Dead fir trees have carpeted a little park with old brown needles. A little group of tomb colonists stands around, another lying on a bench. Unexpectedly, you find yourself reminded of physicians and midwives at a birthing couch. The colonist on the bench, he's old, withered to sticks, groans horribly, though the fir needle deadened the sound. Something moves in his chest, like a sea creature surfacing, or a butterfly breaching a cocoon. The other colonists spot you and close ranks around him. "Stay back, Silkskin," one hisses. "This is his breaking out. Your time will come." There is a kind of rapture in her voice. Gained fragment, which is a scrap of lore. That's all for now. Okay. You'll find a story when you next make port here. You've gained a tale of terror, and you've gained 1 additional terror. Okay. And finally, the first curator. Z captains. The first curator gives audience. The first curator is responsible for the preservation of the tomb colonies. It has been here much longer than London, like all the oldest tomb colonists. But even tomb colonists dissolve in the end. Its time is close. Okay. No more light. The obsequious steward cautions you. The curator is terribly afraid of moths. He opens the door, and you step into near darkness. A pair of luminous lamp-lighter bees buzz in a latticed ivory tube. There is no other source of light. A bandaged shape no larger than a child lies crumpled on a couch. It lifts its head with obvious effort. It takes several seconds for you to distinguish its voice from the soft buzz of the bees. We could listen to the whispered request, ask about the Grand Sanatorium, accept the commission, depart for now. Okay, we'll go ahead and listen to his whispered request, or its whispered request, I suppose. Z Captain, Silkskin, not much left of me. I will go into the Grand Sanatorium. Bring me colors, 7 colors. Pay well. 7 colors. Cosmogone, Irigo, Pelagian. Steward has list. Find them here and there across the wide black Z. Okay. So we can return colors back to the first curators. Interesting. Ask about the Grand Sanatorium. One hears the name whispered here and there in the arcades of Venderbite. Oh, Silkskin, you don't want to know. The chuckling becomes a cough. We don't die here below, not unless we go to Z, so we needed something else, somewhere to end. Alright, we'll go ahead and accept the commission for his thirst for colors. Thank you, this poor flesh thirsts for colors. It collapses, rustling, back onto the couch. Even the effort of speaking seems to have diminished it a little. The audience is over. As the door opens, it shrinks from the finger of light that reaches across the floor. Outside, the obsequious steward nods. The book? Yes, the book. He hands you a slim, illustrated volume. The curator is old as dust. We will all be grateful if you do it this one last favor. Okay, so these are the colors we are expected to gather up. And we gained the Neath Bow, a book for children. One page is devoted to each of the colors of the Neath, which are not found on the surface. So in other words, these are colors that you would never see above ground, which I believe means, I don't think these are real colors. Like Irigo might seem like an indigo. I is for Irigo. No one remembers why. Irigo colors the forgotten corners of home. Okay. Well, then, I believe that is going to do it for the Tomb Colony. So let's go ahead and launch. And I think we have gathered enough to want to head back home for now. This is going to be a very short trip. We'll leave longer jaunts for maybe a future time, or for those more prepared for life at Z. But for now, I just want to ensure we don't run into any giant crabs, or squids, or horrible Cthulhu-faced monsters, and actually make it back alive. Now, we do have a map. Yeah, like right here. So we started here, we made it up to here. As you can see, we're revealing some of the darkness as we go. But, yeah, not too much of the map explored so far. And are we moving when we're in the map screen? I don't remember. It sounds like we are. But our icon never really seems to move. Let's see. We're right there. So I'm going to wait just a second or two. No, I'm pretty sure it pauses. We're just continuing to hear the engine hum. Alright. What's down here? The Prickfinger Wastes, huh? Low Barnet. Okay. I believe this is just north of London. Yeah. Dock should be right over here. Once we get back, we'll be able to report what we found. Now, once we do get back into London and get all our reporting wrapped up, that's probably going to be the end of this video. I'm not sure when another episode will happen, but I wanted to sort of check things out. I'm thinking that Sunless Sea might make for an interesting sort of Let's Roleplay series. We could do like a captain's log in the description every time, and sort of provide timestamps and everything like that, and forge a bit of our own story. Although there is much more of a story in Sunless Sea than there is in something like Darkest Dungeon. So I'd love to hear your feedback or opinions on something like that. I will go ahead and dock here in Fallen London. Ooh, fancy gun. Uh-oh. The Revenue Men. Her Enduring Majesty's Customs Service works closely with both the Ministry of Public Decency and the Masters of the Bazaar. Today, they have selected you for an inspection. Don't cheek them. Okay, we could let them do their worst. We could declare all our controlled goods, or we could try to talk our way out. Or we could try to set something aside for a Veils challenge, which would have a 60% chance of success. Okay, but we don't have any... Okay, so I guess they're looking for crates of human souls, and we don't have any of those, so we could do this. We could declare all controlled goods, pay the customs duty on any untaxed souls or romantic literature, surrendering any smuggled sunlight. We could try to talk our way out of it, but we'd need favors for that, or we could try to hide it. We don't have anything to hide, so we'll just let them do their worst. Vexed and frustrated. They roam your deck like wolves. They tear through your belongings like termites. At last, they leave. Okay. And our suspicion hasn't changed because it was lower than 5 already. Fair enough. Returning to London. The lights of London welcome you home. The storylet only appears when you've been at sea for a little while. We could collect messages from the harbor master. Or, if we had a ton of terror, we could take a breath of relief. Okay? All the clatter and song of the dockside, it soothes the soul. Are there any messages for you? What's this? Okay. You have one of these. A precious time away from a captain's duties. How will you spend it? Okay, so we gained a day of free evening. And a day has passed in the Neath. Something has changed. Someone wants to sign on. Okay, we'll continue. And... let's check out the merchant tugging at our sleeve. I have need of a reliable agent. Failing that, an inventive one. Here are my requirements. An opportunity for profit. He has very specific needs, but he'll pay much better than market rates, and he won't ask how you come by these things. He has a request. Speak to him further. Okay, and 2 requests. We can fulfill either one. So we either need 7 Scintillac, 7 approved romantic literatures, or 7 romantic literatures. Okay, so we can't do that yet. We'll come back to him if and when we gain the items he seeks. A little gift. A very fine evening to you, Captain. My, what you... my what you might call mentor is very fond of adventurous Z captains and would like to offer you what you might call a dispensation, on account of he is so fond of Z captains. Behind the blind bruiser, on the dock, stands a dray piled high with fuel and supplies. We could accept it, we could inquire further, or could refuse. Well, judging from the fact that his picture is holding a giant knife, I am a bit suspicious. So I think I'm going to go ahead and refuse his offer. I will not deny that I am a little saddened, and I think that my patron also will share my sadness. But I understand that you know your business, and that a Z captain is a free spirit, and I will explain carefully to my patron that you mean no insult by the refusing of his kind gift. Zale safe. The dray creaks off into the dockside crowd. Okay. Fair enough. Then we're going to go ahead and go back to our lodgings, where we have a night off. We could read the paper. We could visit our study if we had a study. We could rest in our room above the blind helmsman. Yeah, we'll go ahead and read the morning paper. The Unexpurgated Gazette, the magazine formerly known as the London Magazine, the Spiteful Trumpeter. News. News from home. The Echo Bazaar, that enigmatic marketplace, has increased its tax on love stories. The Traitor Empress has forbidden singing in the street outside her palace. The anarchists of the Calendar Council have inexplicably dynamited a drinking fountain. The Ministry of Public Decency has located and destroyed a nest of gallbladder wasps. We lost a little bit of terror, and we've gained some recent news, which we can now trade with other islands. All right, and check out the rest of the city really quick here. We could go ahead and visit the Admiralty Survey Office, now that we have a little bit of information. Hunter's Keep. I trust the sisters are keeping well. They are citizens of Her Enduring Majesty, notionally. We submitted it. Okay. We gained some fuel, gained favor, we gave away our port report. So we gained basically gold and some fuel for that. We can also report on Vendor Bite. What have the nearly dead been up to then? Again, more fuel. Again, 10 echoes this time. And more favor with the Admiralty. All right, let's go ahead and try to talk to a higher authority. We don't have an appointment still. 3 ports in return. Oh my! Okay, fine. Let's go ahead and simply retire for the night then. The rats keep you awake of nights with their muttering and skirmishing, but the bed is warm and the door has a lock. We gained a restful night. Got a little less terrified, and we lost 10 echoes. So we made 15 and we lost 10. Fair enough. Okay. Well, I tell you what, guys, I think that is going to wrap it up for our first expedition here in the Unterzee. The DLC that's coming out is supposed to be like submarines and stuff, the ability to finally go kind of underwater. I wanted to refamiliarize myself with the base game if I did decide to play the DLC, but let me know if this is something that you're enjoying or would be interested in watching. Several new games have appeared on the channel this week while I have been away on business, and I'll basically be looking to how they did, you know, the total number of views, the interactivity in the comments, likes, all that sort of stuff, to say, hey, we liked this one more than we liked this one, etc., etc. And based upon that, that's probably going to be the next new series that starts popping up on the channel with some regularity. So feel free to let me know how you feel about any of them in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to subscribe to the channel for more videos every single day. Leave a like or a comment if you have anything to say about this or any of my other episodes, and I will catch you guys next time.